Guys, here are some dreams that I've had. These are pretty spiritual dreams of mine, so let's get right into them. Some of them are spiritual, some of them are not, but they're still pretty cool. The first one is called the field dream. So I was with my brother, and we noticed there was some guy on a motorcycle that was who came to our house to, I don't know, try to chase us or something. So we quickly had to hop into my car, turn it on, and I hit the gas. And I was just driving down the highway for a while, and this guy was behind us, and eventually I went to a field, but sadly it was a closed boxed-in field. On the left, middle, and the right, there was no, and we were heading straight toward trees, and we didn't know what was going to happen because he was inches away from us. Then immediately the car vanishes, and we started soaring like eagles through the sky, and that was amazing because he couldn't catch us anymore, and no danger was even there. That was a pretty amazing dream to me because there's a Bible verse just for that. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Number 2, the shed dream. I was outside with my mom and my brother next to our shed, and there was a tree next to that shed that's not there in real life, but it was there in the dream. And as we were standing there, a circle of fire appeared in the ground, on the grass, and it was getting closer to both the shed and the tree, and it was getting bigger and bigger. So we started to panic. We didn't know what to do. And as I was getting inches away from the shed, while I was looking at the shed, I prayed to God. I said, "Fire, leave in the name of Jesus." And immediately after that, the fire vanished. And that just shows what having faith can do. I know it's symbolic, but having faith for even moments in real life is beautiful. And having dreams about that, I think, are from God, and it just, because God can give you dreams. 3, the museum dream. So there was a bunch of kids that were walking up to this small set of stairs that led up to a single door to a building, and the building had white walls. So it looked like it was a field trip. We were walking up, they were opening the door, walking in, and you see inside a rectangle kind of framed room, and there was a bunch of signs of famous people, scientists, people too, and also interesting facts. I noticed one of them being a picture of Isaac Newton with his name on it. And, okay, from there, on the left, there was a small hallway. We walked through, and there was physical displays in this hallway, physical things that were there, and it was leading to a small room. And in this room, it had more physical attractions and stuff, and it looked like things that I seen in real life kind of combined into this small room. But I noticed something strange. There was a mini little door, a latch door that was open, but instead of this door being on the wall, like normally, or like kind of hitched up normally on a wall thing, it was on the ground, and it was a small door. It wasn't like this massive door. You would open it, kind of climb down with somewhat of a drop. You went down that drop, and people were going down there. You could kind of see more areas and stuff, more physical rooms. And then the physical rooms were just extra parts of the museum. But it was normal at first, but as you got deeper down, it was turning more into like parkour related things. It was getting harder to climb down. You would getting tougher. It felt like it was kind of a cave, and you could barely move around, but you could when I say climbing down, I think it was like rock climbing as well, just to get down these things. But I was still managing to push through somehow. Barely could do it. But it was getting so incredibly tough that it just got darker as well. And eventually, it was so hard to move. It got pitch black, and then that's when I woke up. And I thought that was a really, really weird dream, because I felt like I had that dream before as well. And I feel like the hole represented my fears in life, and the signs and the museum itself represented my desires to gain knowledge of things like philosophy and even spiritual knowledge / wisdom. Now, the catering order dream. So, at the fast food restaurant I work at, in the lobby, there was it felt like there was millions of boxes set up with food in them. Like, it was absolutely covered to the brim with all that stuff. I guess someone ordered a very, very massive catering order. And it transitioned. It went from the lobby at this restaurant to a random field with people, with cars, with random things. And then it transitioned into like a picture of the sky. And from there, part of the dream, like a narration, was saying that, I think that narration I can apply was God, but in like a dream kind of format, was saying, this is 1% of what heaven will be like. And he's referring to the food here, but I don't think the dream is really referencing physical food alone. I think it's referring to like spiritual stuff, some deeper concepts. But obviously, I could see physical provision in that dream, that there was some physical, deeper layers of God providing physical food for and nourishing our needs and stuff. And I think that was an amazing dream. Now, the flying through field dream. So this one was more of a lucid dream. It was a random, it was just a big field and open space, kind of like a zoo. Not exactly a zoo, but like a zoo area. Trees. My family was there, and we were just having fun. There wasn't really a lot of, annoyance or anything. And when I woke up, I thought that the dream felt like it was heaven. Now, an angel dream. In this dream, at my house, I had seen an angel that was in the dream. And the angel wasn't like one of those big angels as described in the Bible, but the Bible describes angels as even human. There could be human version of angels. And I had seen an angel that was disguised as a human. It didn't feel scary, intimidating, or anything. I mean, I don't think angels really feel that scary. It might scare you a little bit if they're big, but you would probably feel at peace after that and stuff. But anyways, in the dream, I believed the angel at first, that it was a real thing. But then part of me, analytical mind, turned on, and I doubted that the angel was real for a second. I was like, is this even real? And I think that reflects my real doubts in real life, because I really do doubt things sometimes. I think I can be kind of like doubting Thomas sometimes, and that these analytical doubts are kind of like in my brain, and they're hard to overcome. That can be all of us. That's why it's best to walk by faith and not by sight, and realize that if you doubt, it's okay. You can still overcome that through Jesus Christ. So my next dream is a dream of God saying something specific. I'm not sure. It could have been God. It could have been my subconscious brain, and that's why I want to get into it. So God said, you will be married soon. Or that's what the dream implied. And there was a girl that I liked, and I met her 2 years ago, and while I still know her today, I had the dream like a little bit less than a year ago, I think. And it's just, I also am worried about her because she's spiritually distant and stuff. And no, she doesn't really like to talk to me anymore, really, but she still has me added on social media and will talk to me a little bit there, but not really much in other places. And while that is kind of sad, I don't really like to focus too much on that because it kind of hurts to focus on that. So it's more better to focus on what's real and what's true. And when I was thinking about that dream, I think it's best to have discernment about things like that. I think spiritual confirmation can be real, but if the dream could be real, but it's best to let that play out and not focus on the signs too much and not even on the future, because who really cares about the future because you shouldn't care about the future too much. It's one thing to think about the future, kind of, but you should more focus on a relationship with God in the moment, and He can build you a good future. And if you focus on that, you won't even really care about the future too much. So that's why dreams like that, to me, are exciting. It was an exciting dream because I do want to get married in the future, but I am working on not focusing on that dream and getting too excited about it and being more neutral about it and saying it may be false. Now, the next dream might be something similar to the last dream. It might be about signs. I'm not sure the exact meaning, but here it is. So I was sitting on my bed and I looked out the window. I think it was daytime outside as well. It's kind of weird. I seen a star, which you can obviously see stars during the day, but I seen a star, and then right above that star on the left corner, I seen the moon shining, and I could look at the star and the moon clearly, but then after that I looked left, and there was the sun. I was about to look toward the sun. I was so close to looking at it, and then it felt like a narration of, in the dreams was saying, don't do it. Don't do it. And then I woke up. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So the dream was kind of, around the fact that I was about to look at the sun and I was told to not look at it. Maybe this is like us falling into temptation, and God is basically saying, don't do it, it's not worth it in the end. So, because when I thought about the dream later, I thought maybe it is about that. But then I also thought maybe it's about me asking for too much confirmation / signs of events, which could be a form of temptation in a way, because you're still falling into something that's not very godlike. So we should, again, focus on God fully, and not let any kind of temptation creep in. And I've had these dreams a while ago, so this is something that I've been definitely getting a lot better at, because it's a slow process. Now, the next dream it's not a spiritual dream really, but it's very deep, and it's one of my favorite dreams of all time, because it's very weird, but also good. So it's called Dancing Dream with Goofy Characters. So it started off normal. I was walking toward a building that I noticed with 2 doors. So I opened up those doors and seen Goofy from Mickey Mouse, sitting in a chair, kind of like a desk area, with headphones on and a keyboard. It was in a lobby, so not like, it's just a normal lobby and no one else is in this lobby. And when I say he has headphones on and a keyboard, he looks like a DJ character. He looks at me and he makes eye contact, but he doesn't say anything. He looks really sad, and he turns around and, kind of puts his head down. And I think in the dream itself, I felt like this was a future version of me. And when I say a future version of me, I don't mean that this is my own interpretation of the dream. I mean that it was something I think that actually happened in the dream. I'm not sure if it actually happened in the dream or if it was just my awakening thought I had. But if it happened in the dream where I thought that was like a future version of me in a symbolic way in the dream, that might be pretty cool. But I don't really remember that and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I said he looked really sad and stuff, and didn't really look back, but looked back a little bit. So I was confused, so I shut those doors and looked toward the other areas. I looked toward the right, and I seen more buildings on the left and the right. But here I seen a hair salon, so I went over to the hair salon, not even to get a haircut, just to see what was to see what this world was like. Because I'm trying to think, I don't remember if I heard any music or anything, but from what I remember, I went into the hair salon, and this one was packed. It had a bunch of people all getting their haircuts and everything, and they didn't really look sad this time. They looked happy, like kind of in their own world, just getting their haircuts and everything. But no one was saying a word to anybody, to me, at all. But they could notice me. They still noticed me. They looked at me and everything. And it was weird. It was confusing. I think there was another part to the hair salon, or another part. It was just like a bigger area and stuff with more people. These are all Mickey Mouse characters, by the way. But I don't remember what the next part of this hair salon looked like. But anyways, I went out of that area. I looked left. Well, not right. Not from that right angle, because right would have been back toward that goofy guy in that one building. But left, it was kind of weird because I seen an actual like music place, like it was a DJ place particularly. So I went down there, went in, and I seen a bunch more Mickey Mouse related characters, but in that room they were all dancing together, and I think there was couples also dancing, so I joined in. But anyways, it was they were slowly dancing together, and there was no music, no words. It was just purely action and everything. And as I was dancing while on the DJ floor, the colors were changing, pretty smoothly on the tiles and everything. And then it transitioned. Well, the DJ room itself, like the floor stayed the same, but the environment transitioned from a DJ room that I was in into a fast food working environment. The same one I work at in real life that I used to work at. It transitioned into that room for a second on the same small area. And there was a few people that I actually recognized that weren't Mickey Mouse characters, but characters from the actual job that I worked at. And that I was just dancing. And that when I hit that moment, I was just dancing, I was vibing, and it was amazing. But at the same time, no one was saying anything. They were all completely quiet, and it felt like the silence here was speaking louder than words. Like, I can visualize it with words, but no words had to be said to make that reality possible. Okay, the next dream is the shortest dream on the list. It was a simple dream of 3 key words. Keep the faith. And I think that would be from God. It's an important reminder that we should keep the faith, endure to the end, because that is more worth it. And now to the last dream. So, on the list, I have a best friend that I knew a very long time ago when I was like 8 years old, I think. I knew him even longer than that, but we hung out. It was in a completely different place that I used to live than that I live now. I live in a different place way back then, and I hung out with him for a couple of years, and I moved when I was 9 after my birthday, but I didn't really get to invite him to my 9th birthday because I couldn't get in contact with him. From there, I moved, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 5 years later, I'm trying to think where my mom got in contact with his parents, but his parents had divorced, so my mom and my dad were able to get in contact with his mom and then get in contact with him. And when I was 14 years old, I was able to call him again. So I called him, and at that time, I was going through some stuff like shyness, social anxiety, and I was not very good at socializing. Never really was, but was okay at it in my childhood. But when I had called him that time, it was pretty awkward. And after we had finished the phone call, I'm going to say about another 5 years later, so it's been about 10 years since I've seen him physically, even though it's only been 5 years since I called him. And this is where the dream starts. I was in a building that looked like a tall office building, like in a city, not a church or anything. Like it's like in a nice meeting room area, and I seen this person there, and I didn't know who it was. At first. I looked at the name on the thing, like there was something saying his name, maybe his name tag or something, and it said his first and his last name, and it matched exactly my actual best friend's name. I didn't go out and actually see if it matched his first and last name, but it sounded like it matched his first and last name. And he didn't know who I was, so I told him who I was and that I remembered him. And when I did that, he started bawling his eyes out and he gave me a big hug. And this dream, to me, was very important because it made me think of an older person from my childhood that I loved and now. And it was actually very peaceful now to move on and stuff. Thank you guys for watching this video. This was all the dreams I've had, not in my life, but a good amount of the dreams I've had that I wanted to share in this video. And I thought they were pretty impactful. And I thought there were some good spiritual dreams on this list. So if you guys have any dreams that you want to share, leave a comment below, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.